Echoes of a Broken Man. Episode 7. A softer morning, the morning sun peeked through the thin curtains, spilling faint light across your room. Usually, that light felt intrusive, another reminder that the world kept moving while you stayed stuck in yesterday. But today, it didn't sting as much. You woke up slower than usual, not with a weight pressing on your chest, but with something quieter. It wasn't happiness. No, that was still too far away, but there was space to breathe. A strange, unfamiliar calm. The house was still quiet, the kind of silence you'd grown used to after your sister's passing. Your mother's footsteps usually carried sharpness, a presence always tied to authority, to rules, two words that felt heavier than comfort. She had her way, and you had yours, and often those ways collided like two storms. Last night was one of those nights, voices raised, doors closed harder than they should have been. But when your eyes opened this morning, you weren't holding on to the anger anymore. That was new. Maybe your brother's words had worked their way in. Just give her time, Daniel, he had told you, sitting on the edge of your bed. She doesn't know how to say it, but she's hurting too, the same as you. Your brother had always been the bridge, the one who could take your stubbornness and her sternness and weave them into something closer to peace. You didn't admit it out loud, but you needed that, maybe more than you realized. You dragged yourself out of bed, washed up, and for the first time in weeks, when you looked at your reflection, you didn't hate it. You didn't love it either, but you didn't feel the urge to look away immediately. There was a softness in your eyes, like maybe they hadn't cried themselves raw the night before. At school, the morning air carried a crispness that felt alive. Mandy was already waving at you from her desk when you walked in, her energy filling the space like always. "Daniel, you're late," she teased, hands on her hips like a teacher. "Do we need to start giving you detention ourselves?" Sophia rolled her eyes, but there was a smile tugging at her lips. Ignore her. She just likes bossing people around. Normally, you'd force a small smile to avoid questions, but today, the laugh came easier, a small, genuine sound. Both girls blinked in surprise, then smiled wider, like they had been waiting for that laugh to return all along. "See," Sophia said, "told you he wasn't broken. He just needed time." You sat between them, the familiar warmth of their chatter wrapping around you. For once, you weren't lost in doodles on the page. Your pencil still moved, sketching quiet shapes in the margins, but it wasn't to hide anymore. It was because you wanted to. When the teacher stepped out and the classroom noise erupted like it always did, you didn't feel the pull of darkness clawing at your chest. Instead, you leaned back and listened to Mandy and Sophia argue about who was prettier. Some silly debate that ended with them turning to you for judgment. "Well," Mandy demanded, "you had to pick." You froze, your face burning, but before you could stammer out an answer, Michael's voice cut in from the doorway. "Neither, it's clearly. Daniel's saving his heart for someone taller and cooler than both of you," he joked, walking in with his trademark grin. The whole row laughed, even the girls, even you. Michael had a way of breaking tension that felt like magic. He plopped into the empty chair near your desk, leaning in close. "See, you're smiling again," he said quietly. "Just for you. Told you it would come back." At break, you and Michael sat under your tree, the shade familiar, the air carrying the scent of fried snacks from the tuck shop. He rambled about cartoons, about the new anime he swore you had to watch, about how he'd one day be rich enough to buy all the chips he wanted without ever sharing. "Not with you though," he added, grinning as he shoved a chip into your mouth before you could protest. You laughed again, a little louder this time, and in that laugh, something shifted. The grief didn't vanish. It still lived in your chest, heavy and sharp. But today, it didn't control every breath. Today, you found space to laugh without guilt. When the bell rang and you returned to class, you felt the weight return, but it wasn't as crushing. Mandy and Sophia pulled you back into their chatter. Michael cracked jokes that made your side hurt. and your pencil sketched quiet dreams into the page. By the time the day ended, you walked home with lighter steps. The road didn't feel endless, the houses didn't feel suffocating. And even when you reached your door, you paused before walking in, not to dread what was waiting inside, but to breathe, to steady yourself. Your mother was in the kitchen, her back to you, the sound of dishes clinking filling the room. Normally, you would have gone straight to your room, avoiding her eyes, avoiding her voice, but today, you stayed. "Do you need help?" you asked quietly, your voice rough from disuse. She froze, turned slightly, her face softer than you'd expected. For a long moment, she just looked at you, then gave a small nod. "Set the table," she said. Tone was still firm, still carrying that authority, but there was no sharp edge in it this time. It wasn't much, but it was a start. And as you laid the plates down, one by one, you felt something you hadn't felt in a long time. The faintest echo of peace. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and join us again on our next chapter of Echoes of a Broken Man.